Hey everyone, it's me, Bijal, hopping on to my weekly live on Tuesdays. Um, I wanted to hit a really interesting topic that I get a lot of questions about, which is, of course, my expertise. But the questions that I'm answering today is what exactly is branding? There's a lot of different definitions that are out there, or even things that you may have picked up from reading other posts or reading other articles. Definitely understand if it's not your particular zone of genius. So I'm going to be hitting up what is branding, and most importantly, why does it matter to you in your business and why you should be paying attention to this. The second thing I'm going to hit up is basically 100 reasons why not to use Fiverr or Upwork or 99 Designs or Design Pickle or any of those things, and to ensure you don't sabotage your business that you're obviously spending so much time on. So that's what I'm going to hit today. It's going to be pretty quick, but I know that I've gotten so many questions from my clients that I know it would help you as well. So feel free to say hey to me in the comments. I'd love to know who's here and just engage with you. I'd also love to answer any questions that you have in regards to what I'm saying. But yeah, just feel free to emoji bomb me if you like something, or just let me know that you were here. So let's get going. Okay, so the very first question I get all the time is, what is branding? And so a lot of people confuse the brand to be just literally the logo. And that couldn't be further from true. The logo is just considered a brand identity that is one part, it's one staple of what's underneath your umbrella of branding. So within the branding itself, there's three main parts. If you want to think of it as the brand anatomy, you have the identity. So that's everything that you would consider visual. So it's the logo, that's a part of it. It's also the colors, it's the font choices, the secondary, tertiary font choices, and it's even the name is a part of that brand identity component. The second component is the brand heart. So the brand heart, if you think about your brand being a human being and an actual living person, a living thing, the brand heart comes down to everything you would associate with like a human's heart. It's their characteristics, it's the mission statement, it's their values that they stand behind, it's what they're known for. It's even in this day and age, an important part of a brand is having a social cause that you are aligned with and you attribute time to, money to, you dedicate some of your business to. It is extremely important for that. So we're just hitting what the anatomy of brand is. So far we've covered brand identity. The second thing we've covered is brand heart. I've noticed that a lot of people sort of skip or glaze over the brand heart part. And what this does for you is that your customer or your client, they might be attracted and bonded to you, but they're not attracted and bonded to your brand necessarily. And that's a whole nother level of attracting clients and developing a legacy brand that is much more sticky and much more ever present and evergreen beyond just like an initial kind of like get to know you and do some work. So hit me up in the comments if you've joined a little bit late. Let me know you're here. Let me know if you have any questions. But what I just covered is what exactly is branding. And in summary, it's basically your brand is conceiving a person, an entire person, make-believe person, from their looks, their name, their heart, their values, down to even how they talk and what they would say. So that's the best analogy I can give to both of those things. So that takes us to the final part of the brand anatomy, and that's brand messaging. So that has everything to do with your brand. How would you talk? What is your tagline, which is kind of like a 7 to 10 word tagline that's usually incorporated into your actual logo. That's extremely important to have a really precise tagline that immediately attracts your best clients. And also positions you within a super noisy marketplace. Like in the world of Facebook, I see this very often. People have 1 second to decide if they should pay your brand any mind or any attention. So if you're on Facebook, you're trying organic, you're trying Messenger, you're trying to post in groups, the very first thing people are going to do, immediately hit up your personal profile and just try to get a feel of who you are. when they go to your personal profile and they don't get a strong read that your brand is professional and worth their time and attention, they're going to skip over you. Conversely, if they see that your brand kind of looks not put together, thrown together, DIY'd, maybe even cheap or affordable looking, you're going to start to attract actual people who are on that boat. They're looking for something free or they're looking for something cheap. So yeah, that's absolutely right, Christina. It's establishing your brand's culture in your own mind. That's a great way to put it, and to enable consistency. That's so important, because if you're not clear on what your brand is and what you stand for, you might try something for a week or two on Facebook, and then you'll drop off, and then you'll go try something else on Instagram. Then you'll be like, no, you know what? I'm going to show up now on LinkedIn, and you don't even know who you are or why you are it. And you have no sort of pillar that's grounding you and your brand and your business of, this is who I am. This is why I'm this way. This is how I show up. This is how I come across to my fans. And this is how I'm going to continue to build my legacy and build my business. So what that does essentially is it kind of like, it leaves your brand up at like, it's like a sail in the wind and it's flopping around. And what that screams to your potential client is you are inconsistent and then unreliable, which could be so far from the truth of what you actually deliver and how committed you are to your clients and your products and your coaching. But people don't know you yet. So the first thing the brand does, having a super solid brand that is, the brand identity is weaved in with a strategy, and then what the output is, it creates fidelity and trust amongst people you don't know. So essentially what this does in your sales process, you're taking people who were cold leads to become warmer, to get them onto a sales call or a strategy session. And now they're walking into it with some sort of confidence that you're going to be able to solve their problem. They're actually giving you the benefit of doubt that you know what you're doing. And then the rest is up to you to talk about what you do with clarity, to like bring up exactly what their pain points are and show through that conversation what you really know to do. So that's what's really super important. I see that as a constant miss. And what ends up happening is on the converse. So let's get to the Fiverr side of this. Is like anything in the marketplace, there's always something cheaper, there's always something free, and there's always something that's more expensive. And so one of the biggest things I would recommend is your brand is a physical manifestation of your business. And I know every business owner I've worked with, why it's so fun for me is your love and passion for why you do what you do and how good you are at it is super exciting. It's super fun to be able to like drink from that fire hose of excitement and come up with something together. And so what happens is when there is a disconnect between how much you love your business, how much knowledge you bring to the table, and how much value you bring compared to how you appear in the marketplace and how your messaging is actually not hitting home with people, there's an enormous disconnect in you actually getting the ideal clients that you want. It also prevents you from taking your business and scaling up to the next levels. So you might have a small fan club of people who like you, but they already know you, they already trust you, or maybe there was a word of mouth referral. But as we all know, when you're a small business, word of mouth referrals are extremely inconsistent, and that doesn't do anything in terms of workload management, planning, and being able to hire and scale people effectively. So let me say hey to a couple people who are on here. Feel free to drop me a message or a question, but I'm going to say hey to Christina, who's on here, and Jen. What's up, ladies? Thank you for joining me today. So pretty much what I'm talking about is the importance of branding and why it matters to you in your business, how that's going to effectively create trust and fidelity in the marketplace and start attracting you the right clients who actually want to work with you and then book with you. So it's positioning you in the right context and putting you into that framework. What's up, Xtina? I'm just getting into brands and why they're so important and why you need to lead with your brand. Because the rest of what you do is already there. You're already fantastic at that part. But when you don't even get the chance to sell yourself, that's really where there's a huge disconnect. So the second part of this conversation, I wanted to keep this one pretty short just to like give people a taste, give anyone a taste who's interested in understanding what branding is for real and why it benefits your business. Is the second part is why not to go with Fiverr. And I'm not dissing Fiverr, just to be fair. I'm dissing them all. Like anybody who is like a cheap, I'm going to get your graphic done in 3 hours is not for you. Like anybody who I'm friends with should not be having that kind of business, because what that's going to do, simply put, hire a $500 person to make your graphic design for your entire business, and you're going to attract $500 clients. Simple as that. You heard it here first. So if you are getting cheapo clients who don't show up, don't do their homework, and don't even pay on time when it's a low ticket offer, it's because you're showing up that way in the marketplace and it ends up getting reflected on you. The second thing is that creativity is not everyone's jam. It's not everyone's jam. And even if you're good creativity is a strength of yours, really, should you waste your business intellect and time to try to design something for yourself? Like, oh my God, the amount of people on the internet that I see trying to make their own brands literally keeps me up at night. I'm just like, I don't want to poo-poo on anyone's stuff, but I'm like, this is horrible. And at the end of the day, it's not going to attract people to your business. And that's really what you care about, right? So the Fiverr process, all of that stuff, you get somebody cheap, they're likely overseas. I'm not dissing anybody overseas. I'm Indian, I'm from here, but you know, I've got love for the motherland. But there is a disconnect between having somebody who you pay $5 an hour and they whip out a logo for you. That's exactly what you get. You get a logo, you get it, and you're like, oh God, I only spent $200. I hate this, but there's not an opportunity for me to hop on the phone. I really feel uncomfortable giving feedback, and I'm just kind of like, thank you, walk away slowly. Like, and you just kind of take it and you're like somehow justifying, do I either show this $300 logo and say I'm a startup, or do I ditch and throw away this $300 and then hire somebody who actually knows what they're doing? And then I see people struggle with that. So that's really hard, because I see a lot of people kind of giving themselves the pass, like, well, you know what? I'm a new business. Like, no one expects me to have something super flashy. This is good enough now. And then once I get bigger, once I get busier, then my brand is going to show up and actually be professional. Okay. So who can tell me what's wrong with that order of operation? Hit me up in the comments if you know what's wrong with that. The objection I get all the time from people, I know that my brand looks horrible and I know it doesn't represent anything I do, and it's really, I don't even like it, but as soon as I get bigger, I'm going to invest. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what it is. So when you do that, you're actually holding yourself back from success. You are telling your future client and your future consumers that you're not ready yet to up level and to deliver at the level that they might expect from your competitor who is showing up professionally, who's showing up pulled together and has spent the time and the investment on their professional brand so they can show up in the marketplace, gloves off, ready to fight. And that's the biggest difference. Is tell me any brand out there that is extremely successful that looks ragged or is done by Fiverr. Nobody. Like, can you imagine if like Nike outsourced themselves and we're like, you know what? We have a lot of expenses. We're going to have to cut this down. We're going to go with Fiverr. They don't, right? Because they know that they're super good at, and Nike's an extreme example, but there's a lot of businesses out there you can compete for in the marketplace You can show up, you can get those clients that your competitors are getting. You just have to spend the time and the focus and the investment into your business so you can show up that way. And after you do, I can guarantee you that the actual clients you start to attract are also at a different level. It just constantly mirrors yourself. The other thing that's super cool is when the brand is custom designed for you, with you in mind, we work together, it's a collaborative process. And what comes out of that creative process is you start to learn, explore, and expand your dimensions of exactly what your brand could even be. And so directly after those presentations, I start to see my clients also showing up differently online. They're showing up differently in their brand because they know exactly who they stand for, what they stand for, and how they're supposed to come across. And so that consistency and authenticity is really empowering. So yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents for today on just high level, what is branding and what is it not. And then also my strong recommendation of whatever it is you do, I highly recommend that one of your first steps in wanting to be really successful in your business is definitely to up level your brand and to invest in it, because you will start to get traction so much faster. And I really encourage you to not take some of the hopefully cost effective routes on your brand, because that's not the place you want to spend. It will cut down the integrity of your brand, and it'll take you more time to recover from that, more than you probably know or see at this point in time. So anyways, I hope that was helpful. Please feel free to watch it back from the beginning. I kind of went into more of the details and broke it all down. Hit me in the comments later with hashtag replay, so I know you were here and that this benefited you, or hit me up with some hearts and love, because I'm planning to be here every Tuesday. So yeah, and then if there's any questions, let me know below and I'll come back and ask them later on what specifically your questions were. But thanks for joining me today. Take care. Have a happy Tuesday.